Coming up, as Tzu Chi hands out rice to the needy in Swaziland, TCTF hands out shoes to children there as well. The Daan District Supervisor thanked the Tzu Chi volunteers for their post-Typhoon Soudelor community cleanup efforts. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. In the Philippines, the Tzu Chi Foundation continues to distribute rice to the needy in Leyte Province's Tacloban. While residents look forward to receiving their share of rice, some were also inspired to lend a hand at the distribution.
Tzu Chi is really filled with love and care.
Here in Tacloban of the Philippines, rice from Taiwan is given to those in need thanks to the help of the Tzu Chi Foundation.
I have tasted the rice before. It's really delicious and different from our rice. It's aromatic and rice grains are big.
Although he is here to receive rice from Tzu Chi, Jeffrey is also helping the distribution run smoothly.
I really want to thank Tzu Chi for all that they have done for me. My thanks doesn't only come from me, but also on behalf of Tacloban and rest of the world. I'm also grateful that the organization has given me an opportunity to be a volunteer to help others.
Taiwan's rice in Tacloban not only helps to feed the hungry, but is also an important tool to help spread love and kindness. It is still winter in the southern hemisphere, and thus Tzu Chi volunteers in Cape Town, South Africa, continue to bring aid to families in need. In August, they completed 2 winter relief distributions that helped 900 families.
Though it is a sunny August day in Cape Town, South Africa, the temperature is still chilly. Local Tzu Chi volunteers have been busy since early morning. 600 bags of rice are taken out from storage to be given out to needy residents in the community of Blue Down. Though there are not many Tzu Chi volunteers here, they are just as compassionate all the same. As the group heads to Green Park for another distribution, volunteers first have to pick up 300 bags of rice. Relief distributions helped a total of 900 households in Cape Town, so their winter can be a little warmer.
Once again, Tzu Chi is bringing Taiwanese rice and hope to the hungry residents of Africa, with volunteers from South Africa joining their counterparts in Swaziland for their latest distribution. The road is long but filled with joy. The 500 kilometers drive from South Africa's Durban to Swaziland is over 6 hours. However, volunteers make good use of every minute. From a distance, the bags of rice seem to stand at attention. Distributed to residents, they become seeds of hope. The bags are also seen at home visitations. In addition to rice, the volunteers also bring concern and care. The distribution was handled by volunteers from both South Africa and Swaziland and was a chance for everyone to learn and grow.
Every person is here to learn. If there are misunderstandings, they should be communicated to the party involved. Don't go behind people's back. As Tzu Chi volunteers, we need to practice right speech and mindfulness.
Thanks to these local volunteers, Tzu Chi's message and efforts here in Africa continue to grow and prosper. Also, a report on Swaziland. Recently, the Taichung Catholic Diocese appealed to the citizens of Taiwan to help the children in Swaziland who have no shoes to wear, and in response received some 13,000 pairs in donations. The shoes have now arrived in Swaziland and are being handed out by the Taiwan Fund for Children and Families, which hopes to complete the distribution by the start of school on September 8th.
Sharing diplomatic ties with Taiwan, Swaziland sits in southern Africa. Many people here live in poverty and can't even afford a pair of shoes.
他们有63%
63% of the population there lives below the poverty line. Most live on less than $1 a day.
As many children fell ill without shoes to wear, the Taichung Catholic Diocese called out to the public for help and received 13,000 pairs of shoes in response. The shoes have now arrived in Swaziland and are being distributed by the Taiwan Fund for Children and Families, so that children may start school on September 8th with shoes to wear.
The Taiwanese are truly so full of love. Really, Taiwan's most precious treasure is its people.
Though not all shoes are new or may not be an exact fit, their children are happy to receive this back-to-school gift. In fact, Taiwan is just giving back for help received in the past.
从民国39年
From 1950 till 1985, for 35 years we received foreign aid, so that's why our citizens are so compassionate. We encourage people to reciprocate the love they have received by helping these children.
Once on the receiving end, Taiwan now has the ability to help other countries, and love from the public will keep the circle of love going round and round.
As the scale of the flooding in Myanmar continues to grow, Tzu Chi volunteers remain on the front lines, bringing aid to families and communities in need. In the township of Tai Ki, 6 villages, home to over 1,500 people, were cut off by the flooding for over a month. Now that the waters have receded somewhat, Tzu Chi volunteers are on the ground helping farmers deal with their losses and students with their return to school.
These have been underwater for 12 days. They are all dead now.
The fields are flooded and quite unstable now. The farmers are worried that even if they can plant in the future, they will have nothing to plant.
Roads have become rivers and travel can only be done by boats. Volunteers are here in Tai Ki to check on students and their schooling needs.
They don't have enough notebooks or pencils. Seeing how the families live, we asked the principal of the school what they need the most, and he said students are in desperate need of writing materials.
Although the waters have now receded, transportation remains a problem for many students. For the 1,500 residents of these 6 villages, Tzu Chi volunteers have brought love and hope for the future. It is great that the Taiwanese government is trying to tap into Taiwan's abundant sunlight by promoting solar power. However, a loophole in the government's policy accidentally led farmers away from farming and instead to leasing their land to solar farms. We now learn about this problem and see how it was rectified. The scenery along the THSR railway in southern Taiwan is changing. Now solar farms have sprung up everywhere.
The Taiwan high-speed rail passes through Taiwan's best farmland, but certainly solar farms are now taking over.
Traveling on Route 78 before heading northward on Route 19, an array of solar farms comes into sight. What was supposed to be farmland is no more, and even the barns are now sitting empty.
Before you talk about promoting solar farms, you have to make sure that it can work with the agricultural industry, as farmland should be used for farming.
This strange mix-up started back in 2013 when the Council of Agriculture wanted to help promote the government's renewable energy policy and thus stipulated that solar panels could be installed on farmland.
There were 3 different scenarios. One was that equipment could be installed on the roof of farm buildings. Second, it could be installed on the ground, but must be a part of a functioning farm. Lastly, it was allowed on areas suffering from severe land subsidence.
Areas suffering severe land subsidence can be separated into 2 categories. One are those that are still farmable, and thus solar panels are to be installed on roofs. And for those not farmable, the panels can be erected on the ground.
Government statistics show that in Yunlin, Jiayi, and Zhanghua, some 130,000 hectares of land are either troubled by land subsidence or industrial pollution. And according to the Bureau of Energy, 8,710 hectares of farmland are suitable for solar farming. Many farmers realize that solar farming is far more profitable than just letting their land lie fallow.
Many solar farm companies pay landowners about $1,000 for about 1/10 of a hectare, and thus roughly $10,000 for about 1 hectare. So farmers quickly realize this is an easier way to make money.
A solar farm lease is 20 years. By allowing such abuse to continue, leasing of farmland to farm has become more expensive. Realizing the loophole, the Council of Agriculture quickly amended its regulations and reduced the areas suitable for solar farming from the initial 96,000 hectares to 1,253 hectares.
Though clean energy is important, if all the farmland is turned into solar farms, then where will we get our food?
However, those who set up their equipment on farm buildings are not subject to the changes. One pig farmer invested nearly $3 million in setting up solar panels on the roof of his 2.5-hectare pig pen.
Installing equipment on roofs does not intrude on the farmland below. This will benefit both the farmers and increase the coverage of solar power. This has many benefits. First, it can generate electricity, adding to our income. Second, the pig pens below will be cooler, which is better for the pigs.
Mr. Zhou now makes $30,000 a month from just selling the electricity generated by his farm and should be able to recover his initial investment in just 8 to 9 years. Currently, 1/10 of some 3,000 livestock farms in Yunlin have also followed suit. Then what can be done for land troubled by subsidence? Is it suitable for solar farming?
If low farmland is not suitable for farming, then what about the Netherlands? Despite its low land, it is still #1 in the world in produce exports. This is something that we really ought to think about.
Are these solar farms monsters invading Taiwan's precious farmland, or are they aid to farmers and the country's renewable energy policy? It all depends on whether the government can create a win-win situation for all.
In the aftermath of Typhoon Soudelor, Tzu Chi volunteers in Taipei's Daan District took the initiative to help clean up Liugong Park near Tzu Chi's Taipei branch. In this cleanup effort, more than 60 volunteers worked to remove downed trees and broken branches. Recognizing the volunteers' efforts, the Daan District Supervisor recently awarded the volunteers with a certification of appreciation.
Tzu Chi volunteers receive a certificate of appreciation from the Daan District Supervisor in recognition of their post-Typhoon Soudelor cleanup efforts.
When typhoons come, who do you see first? You see Tzu Chi volunteers and soldiers.
The volunteers were recognized for their post-Typhoon Soudelor cleanup on August 11.
Typhoon Soudelor uprooted many trees in the park. The cleaning crews could not restore the area to its original state very quickly. Being a part of the community, we took the initiative to help our neighbors and clean up the community.
因为我也知道，在别的区
I know the conditions were even more severe in other districts, but Tzu Chi brothers and sisters still mobilized to help clean up Changlong Borough. I want to thank you on behalf of the residents of Changlong Borough.
Tzu Chi volunteers have once again reached out with a helping hand when a community was in need, showing their commitment to serve both near and afar.
Next, we meet young vegetarian鍾姃穎from Malaysia's Johor Bahru, who first began to refrain from eating meat after she took part in the annual Passport to Vegetarian Land campaign held at a Tzu Chi kindergarten. After the one-month campaign, the young girl continued to embrace the eating habits, and her family also followed suit.
I do not want to eat meat. I want to adopt a vegetarian diet.
When my daughter was attending Tzu Chi kindergarten, she took part in the annual Passport to Vegetarian Land campaign, in which she had to refrain from eating meat for a month. That was when she began to eat vegetarian food.
Do not kill animals, poor animals.
Adopting a vegetarian diet is healthier than eating meat because people inject growth hormones into animals now. We eat vegetables, beans, fruit, and we use good oil. Children who eat vegetables and fruits will listen to you. If she is a meat eater, she would be hyperactive and hard to control even if you lecture her.
Ten years ago, Nepal donated funds to help New Orleans rebuild when the city was hit by Hurricane Katrina. Now, with Nepal still working to rebuild in the aftermath of the earthquakes from earlier this year, residents of New Orleans have joined hands to return the favor.
Thanks for tuning in. It is great to be back, and it is great to be joined this morning by a very special guest. We got Wink in the house from the Louisiana Himalaya Association.
Good morning.
How you doing this morning, my man?
Doing well. Yourself?
Doing great. So good to have you up here. And yeah, you guys are planning a really big event tomorrow, and it is the Full Circle NOLA to Nepal benefit.
So it turns out that Nepal gave Louisiana $50,000 after Hurricane Katrina to help us. So we thought it was only fitting, after they've been going through what they're going through, for us to repay that kindness. So we're putting on a really fun event to raise $50,000 to help the people of Nepal recover from these earthquakes.
So it's a beautiful thing, connecting those two worlds that are, I mean, that is like literally on the other side of the world from us here.
3090.
Exactly. It's still on the 3090 with some cosmic things going on.
Got to help them people bring back their home. Go cash your ticket and vote your bow. They're way overseas, we gonna make them bow. Tell me what I said, tell me what I said.
In the next 45 minutes, I hope that we can raise $15,000 to $20,000. All right, the very first item up for bid is this beautiful singing bowl. Was actually made on the very first full moon after the April earthquake in Nepal. So this is a very special singing bowl. And remember, all proceeds we raise tonight go directly to shelter, to food, and material aid.
One of the people that got involved, she said to me, she's a mom, she said, I've never done anything like this before, but I have kids, and it rains here all the time, which it does in New Orleans. And she had read something about the fact that there was no shelter, and she was thinking about, what if it was me with my kids? And I think that it's a sort of important practice for us to stop for a second and just think, what somebody else might be going through somewhere on this planet. It's very easy here to relate to destruction. After the storm, I think it made us more aware of that. It's very easy to relate to mud and rain and difficulty here. We're all human beings, and what's the most important aspect is kindness and helping each other.
Great, we're off to a good start. We've already raised $700. We got a $1,000 bid right here. Can we go to $1,400? $1,400. Going 2 times. And it is sold.
We raised over $50,000 in one night. You see the best in humanity after natural disasters, and sometimes you see the worst in humanity, but I know that most of the time you see the best in people come out. The funny small things after a disaster that you realize are, hugely important once you secure life and limb and you have your shelter, and the small things that little communities can do to make a difference. I mean, we're lucky. We're luckier than Nepal because our buildings are still standing, The face of New Orleans still has something that we can recognize.
Environmental protection departments in 15 counties and cities around Taiwan have been providing repair services for unwanted furniture, thus giving them a second lease on life and saving trees. Alongside this effort, the Environmental Protection Administration has also set up a website posting information on the sale of the refurbished furniture.
This delicate wooden table, engraved with a Chinese chessboard, is actually a piece of second-hand furniture.
After our repairs, the furniture looks pretty new. Why don't we use it then instead of throwing it into the garbage? That is such a waste.
The Environmental Protection Administration is currently promoting the use of refurbished furniture, which reduces the need to chop down trees. A 2.9-meter high blackboard tree can absorb 0.042 kilogram of carbon emissions a day, which is equivalent to the amount produced by 466 people in a day.
In Taiwan, 4,500 tons of furniture are recycled every year. If we did not repair, sell, or give them away, burning these pieces of furniture would produce 7,650 tons of carbon dioxide.
Next time you're looking for vintage or second-hand furniture, check the website for refurbished furniture and save money as well as planet Earth.
For the past 6 years, Tzu Chi volunteers in Canada's Surrey have been taking care of an organic blueberry farm donated to them by a kind-hearted individual. This year, the volunteers invited their members to come help pick the berries and make jam with it as part of a charity sale to raise funds for the new Surrey Retreat office. We will leave you with these images at the end of the program. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.